What is Fly Me Project? It's a mixed media project created by Pony Canyon in 2015 through its sub-label Exit Tunes, best known for their work with Vocaloid talents with the purpose of bringing together Seiyu and Visual Kei artists. Fly Me Project features music and drama tracks within the same CDs, something that right now is a common occurrence in rock franchises such as Dig Rock, Enlight Tribe and Dear Vocalist, but back in 2015 was still a thing that only the Skip Row franchise was doing. What is Visual Kei? More than a music genre, Visual Kei is a movement. This is a fashion movement that is not really locked to a specific style, and you'll see that a little bit across Fly Me Project's bands. Given that Visual Kei is a fashion movement that happens to be tied to music, you can't and shouldn't say that this band sounds like Visual Kei, and that's because there's no Visual Kei sound. Visual Kei is the visual style, not the music performed. Also, Visual Kei is not exclusive to rock acts. You have Visual Kei bands that range from extreme metal, classical to kawaii pop and even EDM. Once again, this is a fashion movement that can be picked up by any artist performing any music genre. By now, you're starting to understand that Visual Kei may have some common elements in the sound, but ultimately what makes an artist Visual Kei is the sum of sound, lyrics and visuals. Common elements in Visual Kei rock. So when you listen to Visual Kei rock, you'll notice first of all that there is theatricality. Some artists are more upfront about it, for example Kamijo or Versailles, others a bit more subtle, like the Gazette. But theatricality is what drives their performances forward and what helps in reaching their storytelling. In Fly Me Project, Medicode and Drink Me have some theatricality in their performances, with Medicode nudging past Drink Me for the mix of sound plus performances that are impactful and filled with a theatrical touch. Then you have the dark, introspective lyrics tackling delicate themes. Death, religion, abuse, and depression are themes that are approached with some frequency. In Fly Me Project, Medicode have the darker, dramatic approach to life and unchanging love in their lyrics. Drink Me are on the upbeat, brighter side with their lyrics not tackling delicate themes. The makeup. This is the obvious visual aspect of Visual Kei. In Fly Me Project, both Medicode and Drink Me are all about their makeup. The characters are seen wearing flashy neon makeup or, in the opposite side of the spectrum, heavy dark makeup. In a rare promotional occasion for a magazine in 2015, Medicode's frontman Soma Saito went for the look, sporting heavy eyeshadow, eyeliner and dark nail polish, completing his look as Medicode's Kumoli, faux baritone singing style. This is an element that's more common than you'd think in Visual Kei rock. Singers like Kamijo and Gact are known for performing in a faux baritone style, which, in simple terms, consists on singing in a lower tone than their normal one, thus tapping into a vocal range that they don't have naturally. This technique enables singers with a tenor singing range to pass as baritones, having a somber, darker and deeper color to their singing that fits better with Visual Kei's theatricality. In the Fly Me Project franchise, Medicode's Soma Saito is the one that has embraced the tricky singing style, citing in an interview for Pesh Plus in 2017 that it took me between 5 to 7 hours of recording attempts to nail the singing style for Rosa, song featured in Medicode's second single, Gabby. These elements don't define the genre but may help you get an idea of what to expect in Visual Kei rock music. Medicode and Drink Me. Medicode are a Visual Kei rock band with deep influences of metal, punk rock, hard rock and screamo. Their music is fast-paced, the guitars are aggressive, the vocals are intense, while tackling dark, introspective lyrics. You could say that their sound is a mix of Lynch, Nightmare, The Gazette and The Aura. The frontman for Medicode, Kumoli, is none other than voiced by the multi-talented seiyuu and singer-songwriter that at that time of the casting was still a rising star in the seiyuu industry, Soma Saito. Kumoli is a character on the quiet side, not showing much emotion outside of when he is singing, in which he goes for an impressive all-out emotional showcase. This kind of role is rare in Saito's repertoire. I'm talking about the quiet yet extremely emotional character, and it was certainly a refreshing take on characters in 2D music projects, in a way channeling the aloofness or rather quiet and introspective vibe that most visual K-rock frontmen have when they are not singing. Saito was, at the time he was cast in this project, an unknown when it came to singing. His singing tone was still rather high and sounding rather young, not yet packing the punch he is now able to deliver. Yet he rose to the challenge and impressed for each Medicode CD released to date. The rest of the band only participates in the drama portions in each CD. Yuichiro Umehara voices Semimaru, Medicode's calm and collected guitarist with quite the funny personality. Takuya Guchi voices Hachiya, Medicode's leader and bassist, as well as the resident One character. He is always following Kumoli around, trying to make him do or react to something. Yoshitaka Yamaya voices Tento, the band's DJ and resident Dark Angel. A bit on the bratty side, Tento is intense and gets on the nerves of the calm Kumoli. Drink Me are an Oshare K rock band that focuses on electronic rock and pop-punk music. Their music is more happy sounding, the lyrics lighter and happier. You could say that their sound is a mix of Alice 9, Sug and Ancafe. Daiki Yamashita is the voice of Drink Me's frontman Rentaro. Rentaro has big shoes to fill in as he joined Drink Me to replace Kumoli, that left the band to venture towards darker visual K-rock with Medicode. And he certainly brings a completely different dynamic to the band. Yamashita made Rentaro stand out for his energy and excitement for music. The character is friendly with the band's members as well as Medicode's members. This role wasn't that different from those that Yamashita had been voicing prior to it. Youngsters overflowing with energy and quite intense are common in his repertoire. Thus this role was not only perfect for him in the singing, but also acting sides. The rest of the band only participates in the drama portions in each CD. Toshiki Masuda voices Uzushio, Drink Me's leader and guitarist. Is eccentric and always on the move. Yoshimasa Osoya voices Yunagi, Drink Me's aloof bassist. Is always focused on music, leaving most of the members talking to themselves whenever they approach him. And Yuki Kaji voices Den, Drink Me's drummer and resident father figure within the band, responsible for keeping everyone in check and updated on each other's whereabouts. The frontman trailing the visual K genre for male seiyuu. Exit Tunes really nailed the lineups for Medicode and Drink Me. They saw in Soma Saito and Daiki Yamashita the versatility, theatricality and quality both had and still have, however vastly improved since then, and didn't care much if they were known or not at that time. Soma Saito had a lot of momentum going on with him in 2015 after winning the award of Best Rookie Seiyuu at that year's Seiyuu Awards for his work in Akame ga Kill and Terror in Resonance. And all of a sudden, all eyes and ears were on him, and it didn't take long until he started to be cast in 2D music projects. As the voice of Kumoli, Saito took upon himself the challenge of performing visual K-rock with screamo, rolled Rs, while singing in a lower tone and at times in Fa baritone register. And yes, he's a tenor. He does everything on the vocal end, even working alongside the Aura's K in order to better understand how to pull off Fa baritone and sound genuine in his delivery, something that K in an interview for Pesh, commended being quite impressed with Saito's want to sound like the real deal Visual Kei rock frontman. Years have passed and Saito is now a bona fide star among seiyuu, and one of the most sought-after talents for 2D music projects. Soma Saito is renowned for his emotional range, wide vocal range, being a vocal chameleon as a solo artist and as a singer, and versatility as a voice actor, as well as for his outstanding songwriting skills. Just like Saito, Daiki Yamashita was a rising star in the seiyuu industry in 2015. He won the Best Rookie Award at the Seiyuu Awards in 2014, and it was safe to say that the seiyuu industry had its eyes and ears on him as well. Yamashita is a classically trained singer, having majored in music from Muse Academy of Music in Japan. He's a natural tenor, known for having his wide vocal range and absolute control over his singing. He's an outstanding singer that pushes the boundaries of his skills time and time again. Whatever group he joins in immediately benefits from having him in the dynamic, being as good a support to other singers as he is a lead singer, stealing the spotlight for himself. As Rentaro, he goes for powerful performances brimming with life. The intensity and emotional range of his performances stand out right off the bat. With Drink Me's music being on the alternative rock side, the performances he pulls off are not excessively technical to the point of having to learn a completely different singing style. Instead, those are more intense than usual, given the power and energy needed for Drink Me's brand of Visual Kei rock. Years have passed and Daiki Yamashita is not only a popular seiyuu but also making his own solo debut in June 2021. The band behind the authentic Visual Kei rock sound in Fly Me project. Authenticity is something that will instantly stand out in the music by Medicode and Drink Me. Medicode have a heavier and pitch black sound, drawing inspiration from metal, hard rock, punk rock and screamo. And thus their music has the genius touch of LMC Zaiji, Nightmare's Sakito and Yaura's Kei. Drink Me have a more alternative rock approach to their music, and thus Alice 9's Hiroto and Matenro Opera Zayame took the reins and created music with that feel, yet still having the drama and tension that is characteristically found in Visual Kei music. Fly Me Project's music, a quick analysis. Medicode and Drink Me's music are two sides of the same Visual Kei coin, however fundamentally different in the themes explored, sound and vocal performances. Medicode is the heavier outfit in this project, making quite an impact with their self-titled debut CD, Medicode. Everything about the sound in Medicode is aggressive and dark. The lyrics are dramatic at times, the performances are theatrical and overflowing with emotion, the instrumentals are incisive, hard-hitting and fast-paced. There's a sense of urgency and a looming sensation of emptiness going in the group's music. Karma is a banger from start to finish, fast-paced, aggressive and insanely challenging on the vocal end. It shines as the best song in this CD. Hollow is darker in tone but softer in its approach to rock. The instrumental booming in the back of Soma Saito's powerful vocals at times, trading places with him for the spotlight, is such a unique touch.
絡まり痛むほどに心を締め付け響く音色さえ何年もなく偽りまた君の名に触れ揺らう
The band's second CD, Gabby, was a massive departure from that sound, as the Aura's K took over on the composition team. The vocal performances required for this CD were more demanding than the already demanding performances in Medicode. While for Gabby, the song, Saito was one and the same with vibrato, delivering a dramatic performance that demanded him to tap into both his lower and higher registers In Rosa, it was completely unrecognizable.
隠し通した理想は色づき始め諦めた瞳はいつしか濁りまだ罪を重ね溺れるほどの嘘を信じて許したこの目に焼き付けて
It challenged a much lower, rougher, and more aggressive register, fitting with the song's longing and dramatic soundscape, while perfectly channeling the whole Visual Kei frontman vibe for this performance. Gabby, the CD, managed to keep everything interesting by pushing Saito's singing to a whole different level. In return, you will find what is quite possibly one of the most unusual and impressive performances within all 2D music projects in the past decade. Drink Me pale a bit in comparison with Medicode when it comes to the intensity of their sound, however, it ends up working in their favor. Their music is up-tempo and upbeat, with an interesting blend of rock and electronica going on at its core. The band made their debut in 2015 with the self-titled album Drink Me. Wakudoki Wonderland put on the spotlight happy-go-lucky scenes with simple splashy beat, a punchy bass line, and minimalistic guitar work. The spotlight is put on the scenes that drive the song forward and add to it a happy, upbeat vibe that is heavily contrasting with Medicode's pitch black rock.
目覚ましを止めて睡魔の誘惑に勝利二度目は禁物だから鏡に映った寝ぼける自分にパンチいい加減したこうしなきゃ
Daiki Yamashita did have to tap into his eye register to pull off Rentaro's voice in this song, giving the performance a youthful touch. Meron Soda Kyujushu kicked off with a cute, minimalistic music box melody and quickly evolved into an explosion of color. The verses were simple, yet the bass line was massive for this track. As the song progressed, the drums got increasingly intense, with the splashy touch of those painting the playful soundscape of the song.
メニューは水お決まりの緑色光るジュースほら上に飾られた偽物みたいツヤツヤツインチェリー汗をかくグラス底にじむコースター少しだけちょうだいよ独り占めするのずるくない
After a 2-year hiatus, Drink Me made their comeback with The New World. The band changed their sound and visuals for this CD, with Alice Nine's Hiroto taking over the composition for Drink Me. And much changed about their sound. Forget the Oshareke happy-go-lucky feel you got from their self-titled debut CD. In The New World, the band was all about their pop-punk sound and low dramatic vocals. The title track, The New World, brought to the spotlight shredding guitar riffs, fast-paced punk rock-inspired drums, and thunderous bass lines. Synths took the backseat for this song, a big departure from Drink Me's original sound. However, those still had their spotlight in the chorus, serving as an interesting accent to the rock tune.
君さえ願えば僕らは色褪せない行こう The New World 重ねた奇跡の数あれもこれもきっと悲劇ばかりじゃない運命と呼べるはず高い壁も全部ぶち壊すため Trust me.
On the vocal end, Yamashita changed completely his singing style. Rentaro stopped having a higher toned singing style, going the opposite way for this single, lowering the singing tone, now sounding quite dramatic and, in a way, more serious. It brought a dirty, slow-paced guitar intro, quickly shifting its tone for the increasingly speedy verses. Guitars take center stage for this song, with the bassy drums and punchy bass line painting the background as Daiki Yamashita further changed his singing style. For this song, he's trailing a little bit of faux baritone territory, sounding pretty deep for his usual singing range, while putting emphasis on sounding edgy throughout. As you can tell, the music in Fly Me Project franchise is insanely good, and both bands have their own identities. Pony Canyon and Exit Tunes dropping the ball on Fly Me Project. 2015 was a year in which everywhere you looked there was a new, shiny idol project with dozens of characters and groups to follow. Pony Canyon and Exit Tunes would have to focus a lot on promoting it to overcome the noise coming from 2D idol projects with a bigger budget. And what did Pony Canyon and Exit Tunes did? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Despite enlisting real Visual Kei bands and members of those bands to help fleshing out the songs to be believable, and to teach the voice actors on how to perform the music genre befitting of their bands' sound, Pony Canyon didn't make an effort to put the project in the spotlight. And like that, Fly Me Project counts with 2 CDs released by each band, with both selling poorly, and then Pony Canyon and Exit Tunes went missing in action on the project's official Twitter account in 2018, something that for fans of the franchise doesn't come as good news for the project's future. Why should you check Fly Me Project and its bands? Let's first say that this is a unique project. A project that made it cool for Seiyu and especially 2D music projects to embrace the richness and versatility of Visual Kei rock music. Although highly underrated, Fly Me Project would end up opening the doors completely to Visual Kei to be a thing for 2D rock projects. Just look at Osiris from Bandia Rose and Phantom Iris from Argonavis from Bang Dream that carry the Visual Kei torch, And Light Tribe's Esmeralda draws a lot of inspiration from Visual Kei rock, although they aren't necessarily what you'd categorize as a Visual Kei rock band. It appears that Visual Prison, a Visual Kei-centric 2D music project launched in 2021 and getting an anime adaptation later in the year, will try to put the spotlight as well on the movement and its music. Fly Me Project has an awesome lineup, star-studded producing team, exciting and powerful music. The Bad Timing, launching in the same year as 5 other idol-centric 2D music projects, and the subsequent lack of effort by the marketing team at Exit Tunes ultimately made it so that very few people actually know about this project. Fly Me Project's selling point is indeed the authentic Visual Kei rock sound and performances. In conclusion, Fly Me Project is a hidden gem among 2D music projects. Visual Kei takes center stage through the craftsmanship of renowned Visual Kei artists and is breathed live by the outstanding performances by Soma Saito and Daiki Yamashita. If you're a fan of rock with substance, lyrics with depth, and unusual, albeit impressive, performances by male seiyuu as Visual Kei frontman, Fly Me Project is definitely a project you should check out. Thanks for checking this guide to Fly Me Project. If you want to, in the description below there's a link to the written version of this video with samples and extended music reviews for you to check. There's also links to Fly Me Project's official social media accounts and YouTube channel. If you indeed enjoyed this project, spread the word about it. The seiyuu in the cast, the Visual Kei artists part of the production, all deserve your attention. Thanks for watching.